So what on earth was I doing? I was demonstrating the many different possible types of vibrato that there are. And I am so passionate about vibrato because what is vibrato when you play the cello or the violin or any kind of string instrument where you shake your fingers? It is the tone, that's your voice, because we're not singers, so we can't really obviously sing with our voices, but we sing through our instrument. And it's partially, you know, what we do with our right arm, of course, and our hand, but so much of it comes from our left hand and from our fingers. And the most important thing that I think makes a huge difference, the integral part of someone's tone, of having a recognizable tone perhaps, is to really work on fine-tuning your vibrato and to make sure that you're doing it with purpose. So it's not just a random shaking of your fingers. I feel like a lot of students, including myself when I first started, thought that vibrato was just, oh, you're just shaking your fingers. So you're not thinking about the width of the vibrato, you're not thinking about the speed of the vibrato, and all of those things are so important. And it's important to train yourself physically to be able to do all of these different types of vibrato, so that when you actually go and perform the music and put your emotions and soul into it, you're able to have a full toolkit of different types of vibrato. It's for example, it's like putting on makeup. If you only have one giant blush brush to put on everything, including the tiny, you know, delicate eyeshadow, I don't know, this is a ridiculous analogy, but eyeshadow, details, it's just not going to work. It's going to be messy. It's going to be boring. And so the way that you practice vibrato is pretty much the same all across the board. You want to first make sure that you get a nice rounded, well-rounded position in your hand. So I like to call it, you can call it a C, or for me, a hamburger position. So if I'm eating a hamburger, right, I'm holding it like this. And you kind of, make sure your hands really relax, and you just put it onto the fingerboard gently. And you can pick any finger. Let's start with the middle finger, finger 2. And we're just gonna rotate it back and forth really slowly. Back and forth, and maybe I'll hold my cello this way so you can see back and forth. Really slow. And you're kind of rolling across the entire surface of your finger. Sorry, I don't mean to be flicking you guys off. The entire surface, back and forth, just getting, and yes, it's uncomfortable, but you'll get used to it. Your fingers will get harder over time. And then when you play with your right hand, this is what it sounds like. To use a metronome with a very slow BPM. You just pick a speed that you're comfortable with. So click, 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 and do that over and over and over again until you feel comfortable. And then slowly you can adjust the BPM so that it's a little bit faster. Do that for about, I don't know, I was at least 5 to 10 minutes. And then a little bit faster. Same thing, faster. And everybody has a kind of a natural speed that they just vibrate at when you're not really thinking about it. So wherever that might be. For a lot of students, I find a very fast vibrato, which almost sounds like a little bumblebee, like frantic around. So that is not, maybe if you're playing some scary Halloween music or something in very small doses, that could be an interesting effect. But for the most part, you don't want to sound like this, because that's just not pretty, right? And the waveform is very small and frenetic, so that's not good. So you want. So if you find yourself doing that, that's okay, because at first you're just practicing the movement. But if you notice that you're making that type of sound, just slow yourself down, calm down, and then make it wider. really a kind of one-size-fits-all type of solution here. It's really about being super conscious of becoming your own teacher. I think that's always one of the most important things that I tell my students, and when I teach master classes, is that yes, of course, we all need great mentors and teachers to help guide us. But as my cello professor, Eleanor Schoenfeld in college, beloved professor, as she told me, the sign of a truly wonderful teacher, a great teacher, is a teacher that teaches you to no longer need a teacher so that you can teach yourself. And so I think a lot of times we're just not conscious of what we're doing because we're so in the moment of whatever it is we're doing, or playing cello, eating too much pizza like me. So you have to switch our minds, our brains, and the way that we think and process, and be super, super focused and conscious. And even 20 minutes of focused practice is a lot more effective than 2 hours of just mindless, noodling, which really doesn't do anything except help us learn and relearn bad behavior, bad vibrato, bad whatever. And if you really are struggling with being able to be fully conscious of yourself because you're too focused on, trying to get your body to do the right things, take your phone or your webcam or whatever and just film yourself. This is so helpful, and you will notice a lot of things when you look at yourself in as a third person, not from within yourself. When you can hear and see yourself on camera and to listen to yourself, you will realize so many things. And trust me, you guys are super intelligent. You're super, super aware. And so when you actually see and hear it, then you'll understand what you need to improve on. So I would film, myself and see what happens when I'm just vibrating normally, right? And I might very well be happy with my vibrato. So if you're happy with kind of your general main, default mode of vibrato, then you can start experimenting with wider vibrato. It sounds really big and magnificent, right? Okay, you can play around with maybe small vibrato, like the really fast one we mentioned before. Not like this, because I don't think that's ever very, delicious to listen to, but smaller, like little small vibrato that might be a little bit slower. Very fast vibrato. So take the time. I would set aside maybe 20 to 30 minutes a day if you can at the beginning of your practice session. And it will also help warm you up a little bit before you start learning repertoire and looking at the other music that you're working on. And just, play around with your vibrato. And please let me know if if you want to, if you feel so inclined to. I would love it if you guys did. If you post a video, it can be on, here on YouTube, it can be on Facebook, it can be on even Instagram. Tag me so I can see it. I would love to check out what you guys are doing with your newfound vibrato experimentations. I would be so excited to see that. Thank you so much for watching. I will be doing a lot more tutorials now that I have this brand new camera and the new setup ready. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you for all of your support, and I can't wait to talk to you guys soon. Bye!